This podcast was first recorded for the inaugural Brilliance Summit in 2024.
Welcome to the Brilliance Summit podcast. I am so excited to present this to you. My name is Madeline Mcqueen, creator of the summit, CEO of Magnificently You, and a multi-award winning executive coach, speaker, and trainer. Now, this podcast is your pre-event content, available only to attendees, sponsors, partners, and exhibitors. You see, your Brilliant Summit experience starts right here and right now. We don't have to wait until the 27th of June to gain that learning and our joy. Oh no. Here we have a podcast series featuring amazing female leaders sharing their knowledge, experience, and their how-tos. This week's podcast guest is Denise Nurse, TV presenter, accomplished lawyer, and chief success coach and founder at DBN Enterprises. And we are talking The Help, Pay for Peace. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brilliant Summit. I am super pumped about our guest today. She is amazing. You may have seen her on your television screens. She is super impactful. I'm not going to go into all the details about her because she is fabulous. But I'm going to ask her, I'm going to welcome, firstly, Denise Nurse to the Brilliant Summit podcast. Welcome to being here, Denise.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I'm delighted to be here. I'm feeling the power like my sister behind you. Yes. And I'm ready to shine.
Lovely. So I must let you all know that Denise has agreed and is the host for the Brilliant Summit. So it's super exciting because I know she's going to be fabulous. But Denise, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, yes. My name is Denise Nurse. I am a television presenter. I'm a lawyer. I'm an entrepreneur, and I am a business coach. So I'm a woman who has multi-passions. I like to wear a lot of hats. I have 3 children, a husband, so I have a couple of other jobs.
Children.
Yeah, exactly. And my heritage is Caribbean. My mum's from Dominica, my dad's from Barbados.
Barbados in the house.
I love the Caribbean. And I love London. Big up to all the Bajans and
Madonna. Love that. So first question for every guest, but before I ask you the question, I must tell everybody what this podcast is about. So this podcast is called The Help, How to Pay for Peace. Because it's something we need to do. The world has changed. A lot of us are very, very busy. But we'll get into it. So what does brilliance mean to you?
Oh, such a good question. Brilliance. To me, it speaks to our light and allowing our light to shine. I think we have an innate fire burning inside of all of us. And for some, and in fact, for all at times, that light is dulled, dimmed, hidden. Someone tries to throw blankets over it and all kinds of things to hide our light. But our brilliance is that light that shines through. It's just there. We can't get rid of it. And it's that thing that lights you up. You know, when you're having a conversation with someone and then they tune into the thing that makes them happy and you just see the energy switch.
Yes.
That is the brilliance.
I love it.
Gives me tingles when you see that light switch in someone and you're like, yes, queen, shine.
Yes. Light bulb moments for me. When you see somebody switch that on, it's like, that is I love that. Love it. There's so much light in there, and it's just beautiful because I think sometimes we can sit in a cloud and actually we are the light if we could just only recognize that. So I want to talk about, the reason why I called this The Help, How to Pay for Peace, is because I think that we are in a generation that's very different from our mothers. It's very different from our grandparents or grandmothers. And I think that's definitely shaped our expectations and perceptions as what it means to have it all in modern times. So I'd just really like you to kind of riff a little bit about how that traditional role has impacted us and how we maybe operate in these modern times when things have changed.
Oh,
We're still impacted.
yes. Well, of course, there's a lot in there where it's going to depend on what everyone's definitions are. So I'm going to assume some definitions and share them, and then we can go from there, because it could be
that's
people think
fabulous.
different things. So in terms of what this assumed traditional role is, my mum, I grew up with my mum and dad in Forest Gate. They were first generation. No, they weren't first generation. They came to the UK when they were children, 7, 15. So they were that generation, not the Windrush, not the first generation here, those in-betweeners who'd come over, been taken out of one place, plonked in another, had to figure it out. What I saw my mother do was work really hard.
Yeah.
Work really hard. She is amazingly smart, loves education. She was a microbiologist, and she was a mother to 2 children, and she was the eldest of 8, and she was a carer in her, all the things. And she did all the things.
Yeah.
So I think there's been a model for us that here in this society, we have it all and do all the things. And so being successful means, yes, we've had the opportunity given to us to have amazing educations. So a lot of the women that I am friends with and that are in my circles that I work with, their parents or their upbringing has given them an opportunity to get the education, to get the degree, to get the MBA, to get the PhD, add whatever other accreditation you need. We've got stacks of them.
Yeah.
Plus, have the family.
Yes.
And the husband or the partner and the children or the adopted children, or if not that, then serve the community to the highest and be the leader in your community and do all these things on top of each other as if that's the norm.
Yeah.
And I query that a lot because I don't know where that model came from, really. Because when I listened to my mother, the stories she told me were about back in Dominica, where she grew up, how my great-grandmother had a cleaner. In fact, she didn't just have a cleaner, she had a housekeeper.
Wow.
We, as part of our family till the day my great-grandmother passed, and who now lives in one of my great-grandmother's properties. That's just how she grew up. The community was much closer and everyone was doing things for each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we just got a little bit confused. I don't know, in the middle, that there's some expectation we should be doing everything, but I say hell no to that. Hell to the no, to the no, to the no.
Hell to the no.
Hell to the no. Because in my observation, where I became a lawyer and hanging out with some people with money and influence, I realized they really aren't doing it all. There is no way on earth. And for a while I rejected that idea, we've got a nanny and we've got a housekeeper and we have this and we have that, and it's like, I can't admit that I can't have all of that. No, I must do it all. I must raise my own. I must clean my own house. Nobody's going to clean like me. Rubbish. It's fine. So I think there's a re-education or a relearning for us all.
Yes.
And not even a relearning, a new deciding about what we want and what is good for us.
I absolutely agree with you. I think is that what does life really look like? I mean, you just talked about, you mentioned you like at work. Can you remember a specific moment when it was that conflict to do it all and then actually this is not possible? Like the moment when you were like, hold on, can you kind of remember that? Can you remember the experience?
Well, for me, it came before I had to do it all.
Right.
So I'm one of those people who's kind of tuned in sometimes ahead of time. So the minute I landed at my city law firm as a, what was I, 22-year-old, and I landed there and I looked around me, I've always been ambitious. So I'm there and I'm like, this is a wonderful opportunity, but where is this going to lead me? And when I looked up, there were about 50 partners in this law firm. 5 of them were women. No people of color, only one person of color, the tax lawyer partner, who was a man of Asian background. no people of colour other than him, and 5 women, and only one had a family, and her children were grown up. So I wasn't even in the soup of any of that, but I was already like, well, I don't see how this works. This is not where I want to be heading. And I already knew I did not want to be the one trying to change it. I was like, this job is hard enough. Like, I'm here working hours. I've got to prove myself just to be qualified at that point as a lawyer. Let alone work my way up. I'm not going to also take on trying to change the system. No, too much. This was way back in 1998. Oh my gosh, I'm dating myself. 1998. So we didn't, I mean, DEI, whatever, that wasn't even a thing. There was no group for me to join. There was no coaching or anything being offered.
ERGs.
No, none of that. It was just like, you're here, be grateful.
And here's a pile of work to do.
Here's some work. And by the way, you'd make a good secretary, was what I was told by one partner. So, we know how it goes. But anyway, so that was a moment for me. It was a moment. It was looking up and just thinking, well, there's nothing here for me. This is not going to be in my life. Outside of that, I then went to work for Sky, and I went in-house to be a lawyer there. And actually there was a head of legal who was a woman. But again, she was strong. She was doing what she was doing, but she didn't have a family or children. And she, in fact, stepped down from the job eventually. And she said to me candidly, I'm stepping down. She was 42 at the time, because I want a family. And she didn't believe she could do both.
Wow.
She didn't. And she gave me advice. I was in my mid-20s then. She said, don't wait. She said, I've waited this long, and now it's more challenging for me. And she was like, don't wait. I'm like, okay, but you waited, so that was the only way you got that job. So I hear what you're saying, but then how does this work?
Well, what does that mean, right?
What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it meant. It meant leave and set up my own law firm.
Yes.
That was the only way I could see at that point to achieve the life I wanted, where I could have children and be present for them. As well as work at what I consider to be my highest level.
And
work. That was the option.
I think it's so funny that it's really interesting. I think it's a subject all on its own, which is the amount of women who then think, I've got to build this career before I can have children. And then by the time they get there, they're having real struggles having children, because they are so much later on in life. There are a lot less eggs available, and maybe even men available. They haven't actually built the relationship to be able to do it. So I think that's a really interesting one. I think there is something here about, I've said this, and I know other people say it, and I kind of got rebutted the other day, but I actually still stand by it, which is, I think you can have it all, you just can't have it all at the same time, and you can't have it all at 100%. You're going to have to tweak some things without a doubt. And so that brings me to my next question, which is really, when we think about paying for peace and help, like, what is the help that we should be or could be looking for? Because I think that many of us, or many, may think, no, I need, like you said, nobody can clean like me. No, I have to do it, So what's the help?
The help. Well, this notion of I can do it all, and that is what having it all is. I'm very baffled, like, where that even comes from, because there are literally so many hours in the day, and no one has modeled this before us. We've seen all these men who have reached these positions have done it with a wife.
Yes.
Right? Doing everything. Doing all the things. All the things. PA, childcare, cook, clean. Yes, darling. Person who's like at the dinner party smiling, whatever it is they need. Secretary. I mean, how many of these MPs employ their wives as the secretary?
Right. It's like the 5 a.m. club. I'm like, who are in the 5 a.m. club? Mainly men. I know there's women who do it, but mainly men. And why? Because your wife's going to get up. So and the nanny potentially. Sort out kids, sort out everything else. You can go for your run and go, I go for the run and I do the gym. I read all of 15 books. I've read all the newspapers. And you lazy ass. Of course.
You just think about yourself. It's easy. You could do that too. So if we're going to call that having it all, then we can have it all, because you just need to have someone. But notice all those jobs. So all those jobs need to be covered if you want to have a career, and model it on the way that men have had careers traditionally. If that's your model that you are aspiring to,
Yeah.
I recommend you cover all of those jobs if you want to do it with that. So you get comfortable with someone else raising your kids and you come in when you do. And this is not casting aspersions on men. I know there are a lot of good fathers before that. I know they're in the background listening to this going,
for sure.
We do our bit too. I can hear you.
And
it's all
especially,
right.
actually, I have to say, since COVID, I think a lot of men realise I am missing out on time with my children,
Right.
and I want to spend time with them.
My
So I think
own
that's
husband said,
definitely the case.
I'm enjoying having breakfast, being at home for breakfast with
Mm,
my family. And he's now made that a permanent shift. Once you've experienced it, you don't
yes.
want to change it. So,
Yeah.
so all of that aside, okay. So my first thing is actually just define what career you want and how you want your actual career to be. Like it doesn't have to be. And I know if you're in a corporate, it's going to feel like I have to do all the things. You really don't. You really, really don't. So let me give you that as a number one. We need to make that work for us as well.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
whole other conversation. But
Whole
then
other
the
conversation.
help you bring in, let's just start with the basics, the practical stuff.
Yeah.
Like I do not understand any woman who's working at a certain level who's not got a cleaner or a housekeeper, someone helping to do those tasks. Think about it. I broke it down. Laundry is not one task. That is an all-day affair.
Yes.
Right? It starts in the minute you wake up and you gather everything, then you take it down, you sort it, you put it, it pings, it comes out, you dry it, you sort it, it pings, you iron it, you put it all away, you tell everyone else about their business and where it should be, and you have the thought of where it all, and then you look at what needs sewing and what needs amending. That is a whole process and a lot of
Plus
things
dry
in your
cleaning.
head, plus dry cleaning, plus planning for the events that are coming up and thinking about
What needs to be cleaned for when and making sure it's ready. Believe
right?
me.
Hello, that
Talk
is
to me in September, October, November. Jeez. Award
so
season.
even having someone to take care of your house and take care of your laundry, that was the biggest shift I made, right? So when we got to a certain size, I'm not saying this like I got it figured out. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I stepped into that when our business, my law firm with my co-founder, got to a certain size where we had employees, our, turnover was in the multi-millions. This is what I'm doing this, by the way.
Yes.
So this is what I'm telling you now, so you don't wait so long.
Yeah, ahead of the game, ahead of the game.
Because I'm already doing all the things. So suddenly this business I've created to serve me is now, I'm slave to it. That's not the way around it's meant to be. So I had to sit down and have the conversation with my husband, like, look, this is not going to carry on. And I'm not going to give up work. So something else is going to have to change. Oh, yeah, we should get a cleaner. I'm like, no, I'm not talking about a cleaner. I'm talking about somebody coming in every day to do these tasks where they understand enough about how our family runs that they can start to do the thing that I do without thinking about it. Well, I am thinking about it, but you don't see it. It's just happening.
Yeah.
That was a major shift.
Yeah.
Having that. Childcare. Now, if you have to pay for it, you have to pay for it. Choose someone great, obviously. But it's that worry again. It's that buffer time. So you decide when you need it, but you do need it.
Yes.
Because you need time when you're not working, when you're just going to go and do your whatever you do, yoga, Pilates, go for a walk, go on your date night, whatever it is, you need that. So somehow there's got to be childcare. And not all of us now live next to our parents, families, the village. So you have to create a village. The help doesn't always need to be paid for.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of us mothers and parents and carers are out there creating our villages so that we've got people that we can pay a favor to and vice versa. And so you get that help. And the third major area I would say is your mind. So help in the shape of a coach and a therapist for your mind. We're trying to take on lots of things. We're trying to do things that haven't been done before. There's a lot of information in there. Do yourself a favor, get some help for someone who's going to sit with you, be with you, who's not part of your family, your circle, and give you that, hold that space for you. It is gold and worth the investment.
I love that. Like, don't buy another bag, get a therapist, get a coach, like you can have the best of everything. But the truth of the matter is that mind piece is so important. And like, even just that, I know I've sat with people as a coach and I've basically said, okay, so what help have you got? They're like, sorry, what? It's time to pay for the piece. I have a particular client, and we talked about having I said, well, why don't you've got a PA at work? Why don't you just get a life PA at home? Why don't you have somebody who does 10 hours a month, or how many ever hours, 5 hours, and does let her. So she did a great thing. So what she did was, it was just, and I advised her for this. It's a great idea. She did, because she's got all boys and they were all in the same school, and some of them twins and whatever. So it was like, she'd just do an email address that was just for the boys, that was given to school. So rather than my email address or his, that one, and then we all both have access to it. So both had it, which meant that, and then it was in its own little box, which meant that it wasn't being caught up in everything else. But also, we're all responsible. But then having a personal PA, you give that email address to the personal PA. She can go sort out everything. And I think that was a real life-changing experience for her, because suddenly she had somebody to help her do all the things, renovations, or, holidays, even gifts for your kids.
But all of it.
All of it. What does
gifts,
the 6-year-old need?
Yes. For the many parties they're going to. They keep turning up.
Oh my God, the parties. I'm so glad I'm over this stage.
The parties.
Not just that, World Book Day. This other day. Oh, and now we're doing a play. And now I'm like having help. Like, I think there's something here as well about, I call it pay for peace. Because I think that's, and I got it from there was a podcast I listened to. Her name was Patrice Washington, and she was like, pay for peace, and it's ease, grace, and peace.
Yes.
And I think that we need to embody a lot more of that. And that means choosing different. So I mean, obviously, yes, it does cost money. So how does the financial aspect roll in, like, your ability to manage or to pull in the multiple things that you might need, people that you need, support might need, and what kind of change in mindset do we need? Like, when it's not often that, it's not that we don't have money.
It's what we choose to spend our money on, what we prioritize, what we decide, and that paying for peace. It's paying for. So one of my missions is to help as many women make as much money as possible and grow their businesses. And because I think money doesn't buy you happiness, but it can buy you some time. It literally can. If you've got access to more, you can start to pay for these different things and take them off your list. But just as a starter, you can do an audit. So when we were making that decision as a family about whether we get in this full-time help, which was going to be a cost, it was like, oh my gosh, we're hiring staff in our family. Like, that's a mindset shift. But when we looked at the equation of all the things that needed to be doing and the time that I and my husband were spending doing it versus being able to spend that time as family time. And then working on our businesses. And we had a plan for what that looked like, working in the business, for what incomes that can be provided. It became like just a no-brainer. It's like that cost, once we've analysed it and we're doing it from a place of consideration, thought and planning, it made total sense. It's like, what we'll gain back, and you adjust it as you go along. We then moved to a stage where I'd sold my business, and then at first I was like, we're not getting her keeping we're keeping the 4 days. I need time now to adjust past that. So we kept the full time for a while, but then COVID happened, and then it was like, okay,
things change.
Things change.
That's an interesting thing there, though, isn't there? It's almost like, oh, well, I've got more time, so let me take on all of these things. And it's like, why? Why?
Okay, I'm going to be honest. And I see this not just in myself, but in many of my clients, the women I work with. Many of us have a tendency to want to be the savior and the fixer.
Well, the fixer mentality. I am a recovering fixer. I am in we need like AA with recovering fixer classes for sure. I know I do. We can't wait to meet you at the Brilliance Summit, and we're so glad that you chose you and booked your ticket to ensure that you could experience not just the day, but everything that comes with it, including this podcast. Now, since you knew it was a good thing for you, we're wondering if you recognise it's a good thing for other women too. So please, take the time out to invite the women you know who would truly benefit from a day like the Brilliance Summit and this podcast. We can't wait to see you there.
We are in there. So quick telling people how to do it. Don't worry, I got it. The frustration is building when you can see someone not doing it properly. Like, just give it to me.
And it's not even properly the way you want it, because actually the way they may do it might actually be okay.
You might be fine. Stop looking.
Like,
just stop looking. Just leave the room.
The blood pressure thing. It's like, and that I have to be honest, it's been my one of my things I've worked on with my therapist, which is the need to let it go. Like, it's okay. So we went to just in the same thing of this vein is we went to Dubai, and I decided, you know what? I'm not going to pack like I normally pack, like it was lighter. I can't say it was perfect, but it was lighter. And I just ended up going, okay, if I need to go and buy something, I'll buy something. I mean, malls in Dubai are just huge. It's just too much. The Dubai mall is just like, you need planning, you need help. You need
your shopper.
Right. But, you need to plan where you're going to sit for a while. I didn't know this. But the thing about it was, what was different for me was the ability, by just going, I'm going to let it go. If I just let it go, it's okay, as opposed to the need to control. And I think that need to control comes out in this need, not willing to take on help because I've got to own it. I've got to manage it. It's got to be my way. And if I don't do it, nobody, 7.7 billion people on this planet couldn't possibly do it like I do.
And I think to be compassionate to us, there's good reasons we do that. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot that is put on us.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we're trying to control and keep a hold of. Again, a whole other show. There is a lot of trauma in our community that comes to us from so many different angles, that trying to hold on to what we can, whether that's making our house just right or just controlling what we can, it is something that we carry, which is why getting the help with the therapy and the mindset work is so important.
Absolutely.
To give ourselves the grace to recognize and then do what you have to do. It's okay.
I love it. I think it's so important, because then if I've done the mindset work, letting go or giving this over isn't so challenging. And even if it's not perfect, done is better. One, done is better than perfect. And two, at least some of it's done.
Yeah.
At least I don't have to do all of it. So for you, what are the kind of things that you pay? I mean, you've mentioned the housekeeper. I mean, to be honest, I looked at the bed linen. We're changing bed linen today. And I was like, I needed somebody.
You need somebody.
That's
not my favorite thing.
I was like, I need somebody. So
that's my big one.
Yeah, that's your big one. What else have you got?
So personal stylist. Not all the time, but at times. I would like to have someone all the time.
Yeah.
But definitely at times. Some people love shopping. It's not my favorite thing.
Right.
But again, it's a process. Even if you love it, let's think about it.
Yeah.
Like you just said, the malls are huge. You've got to turn up for all these other things. And getting someone who can understand you, bring you the clothes. You're not wandering around with things on your arm, who's going to then look at whether they fit you, get you the right top, get you the right shoes, tailor them up for you, get it all sent off, then tell you when it's delivered, then come back to your house with you and then check that. That's a lot of stuff. And it makes you feel good. And it really relieves a lot of that stress of having to sort your wardrobe all the time, investing in that. So that's a big one. I mean, when we talk in the TV world and other places, I suppose, and influencers and all of it now, everyone's got their glam squad, right?
Yes.
I think that's important. Like,
who's
in your crew? Who is in your hair? Who's doing your makeup? Who's doing your nails? Who are your people you can trust and count on? Who can come in and do what needs to be done so you feel great, so you feel at your best, so you can go and do what you need to do.
Nice.
Personal PA, amazing. Now, I do have a PA for my business. I did try a personal one. I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Over those ranks.
Still see some things you're still holding on to, but it's okay.
I think I'm still holding on to. I've had the times, but My dream is to just have someone who can be in this office with me, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I absolutely hear that. I also have window cleaners.
Yes, of
Too
course.
many windows. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it.
Yeah, I'm not
And
doing
they
those
do
yet.
inside and out. We have a gardener.
Yes.
I've had a
Same
gardener
here.
for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, although David now believes, my husband now believes that he is Farmer David, and he's on Badger Watch on a daily basis. But having these things make a really, I couldn't even consider, one, I like clean windows, but I couldn't, even though, and I'm going to say this, because I know I have perfectionist tendencies. There are sometimes I'm like, that is,
Mm,
but then I go, Madeline, you didn't have to do that yourself.
exactly. And then you
You
can
didn't
just direct the person. Just say, oh, I like it like this. Could you do it? When you did it that time, it was brilliant. So can we stay to that standard, please? I really appreciate it.
Can we stay to that standard? I love that. I need to put that on my wall. Can we stay to that standard, please?
I've seen you do it once. I know you can do it. It's not me slipping.
I think also as well, like, you know, through we had renovated this house, and through that, you know, there are tradespeople that we've come across
Yeah.
as well. David is not a handyman, so I am the handy person. But again, why am I doing it? So, you know, there are some people now that are like, you are the person to do this. If I've got an issue, I'm going to call you. I'm not going to even attempt to do it anymore. And I think getting really used to, so even in Paying for Peace, there is something here that I think you've alluded to a number of times, and it's come up, which is about relinquishing the need to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And also understanding that's why having that person to work with, where does the need come from? Like, on whose terms are you actually living your life?
Exactly. Who has said that it's your job to do this, that you have to do this? And there are times you may choose to, which is very different to I have to.
Yeah.
If you choose to do your gardening because it brings you peace and that's part of your peace practice, wonderful.
Yes.
Enjoy. Do it as a labor of love, as your ritual, as your thing that you do. That is your place. If washing up is your happy place, keep it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have to, I need to, the resentment, the begrudging, or the time munching. Where it's like, where's all my time gone? It's like, well, let's have a look. What do we need to do?
No, and I think when you work, I mean, most people would have recognized this. When you work from home, and when you know, it's like, oh, let me just put a load on. Let me just put the dishwasher, put the things in the dishwasher. Let me just unstack the dishwasher. Let me just, you know, and it's so interesting how suddenly your day has been eaten into. There's another thing here that I'd really love you to talk about, which is when you said, I want help, I'm going to go for help, take care. What happened for you mentally, like emotionally, like even physically? What was the difference for you when you handed it over?
It's like night and day. Look at my piece. No, let me tell you the truth. It wasn't night and day immediately. So
Right.
this is another thing you have to bear in mind. You don't necessarily get the help you want straight away.
Yeah.
So you have to bear that in mind, because some people also give up straight away. They're like, well, I tried that.
Yes.
I tried it.
Yes.
Today's I got a cleaner. They were terrible. And they're out and we're done.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Actually, I think we went through about 4 or 5, if I'm honest.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
You may not find the first one may not be the right one. Neither might be the third.
No, neither might be the third. Each time we learn something new now, though, because you'll love this. It's always us. We want to say it's the other person. They didn't do this and they didn't do that. But what we learn every time, and it's just like hiring people into your business. Like sometimes you strike gold and it's great, but you learn more about what actually is important. What actually am I looking for? What skill set do I want? What we really wanted was someone who was passionate and who cared about cleaning the house the way that I care about being a presenter and a coach.
Yes.
This is so back to our brilliance. This is where they shine.
Yes.
Like, this is their joy. This is their
Yes.
peace. And that's what we were looking for. And I'm happy to pay you more for that, because you're coming into work with joy. This is your happy place. So we were looking for someone who's like, we realized like, oh, we've made an assumption that you're just going to come and clean. It's like, no, the person we have now has been with us for years. She, you know, she's coming and she's going to say, oh, actually, this is how I clean. This is the utensils I love. I've got this idea. This is what I want to do. I was thinking about doing this. Like, this is what she does and loves, and we can then support that. And it's a relationship. And we realized that was really important to us. So yeah, so there is a bit of work involved, but once, and this is the same as when you're in your business, once you then find that person who can step into a role, and you've got the right person on the bus, as Jim Collins says in his Good to Great book, get the right people on the bus, then they'll just go whichever direction you set. And so that is when I got to this is amazing. Like, everything's done and some.
Yes.
That's the answer. I didn't even notice that they're doing, or no one else notices that needs doing but me. But you did, and you've done it.
I love that. I remember years ago when I had my oldest Rihanna. I was working full time. Dave was working full time, and there was a family that came, and the wife basically became our in effect housekeeper. And it was so good, so good to come home and the house was clean. But then she brought a husband who, like, anything that needed fixing, he would just fix it. So, like, there was something wrong with the table leg, it would come home. Oh, the table's been fixed. Come home, there's a mac and cheese in the oven. Oh. You know, come home, open the laundry, go, oh, and color coded. Like, oh my God.
Can I just say, as you're saying that, you know what it is? It feels so nice to be cared for.
Oh,
and it's not that our partners don't or our children don't in their own ways, but that feeling that someone's like caring for you. But you know, my person, she heard me coughing in the office. She brought me in some water today. She's just like, just another person, and who doesn't have to. You know, they're not my kids, they're not my husband.
Yeah.
Just, it feels really good. It feels
I love
really
that.
good.
I think, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this, because I think more of us need to hear that it's okay. More of us need to hear that we are worthy of being taken care of. And I really do hear that, because there is this thing, you can almost feel it sometimes, that it's supposed to be me. I'm supposed to do this. And I think that we also get shamed by mother-in-law, or even your own mother, or other people, like, oh, what, you don't do it yourself? It's like when you take your child to school and then you've got that one who does what's it called, origami, you know, with their child, you know, it's like
everything's homemade and home baked, just like that. I bought some cakes for the bake sale, and you're lucky I did that. Or I found them in the cupboard, and they will do.
Yeah, whereas I created these with my own hands. You know, I created the ingredients too. You know, I grew them with my bare hands. That's the thing. And so there is a lot of shame, I think, that happens, you know, for us as women when it comes to us maybe choosing work or choosing help. And it is that, it's like, oh, you're sitting at home with your backside lazy when you should be doing it. Actually, no, I'm protecting my house so that when my children come in, I can give them my time. I can give them me without, not frazzled me, but full me. And I think, oh, whether that's, you know, with my husband or with friends or whatever, it's like today I'm, you know, due to go out, and we've got big, you know, something we've got to deliver tomorrow. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I should stay home and do some work. And it was like, no, I'm gonna go out and meet my friend and have some fun and come back feeling full. You know, rather than, oh, I stayed and now I'm just drained and empty, and
you're not helping anyone.
Oh, that's got to get booked in again. And you know, you're not helping anyone. And so that whole thing of paying for peace, and even if you say, oh, I can't afford it, I remember being pretty broke, but still not pretty broke. That's not fair. But not having as much and going, but I love my garden, but I'm not very good at it. So I'm going to go, the commitment for me is because I know the garden makes a difference. And where we lived at the time, our living room was very dark. So, and we only had one living room. So the garden was the living, like in some, it was another room. So to have somebody do that for me, knowing that then I could sit in that space without it adding stress, because then I'm looking at it going, oh, it needs to be like this, but it isn't. Because I think that's another thing we do. We then add a level of stress by not.
Absolutely.
And so that was like, no, the gardener's, like you said, a non-negotiable.
It's a non-negotiable, it's an essential. And again, if you do the audit of what you are spending your money on, pretty
Don't-
sure for most of us, we could just drop something. For me, I could definitely drop maybe a couple of lunches or a coffee that I don't need.
Yeah.
So food is my go-to, and I probably spend way too much on external. And I can go, do you know what? If it's really at that level that I'm having to make that balance,
Yeah.
I can do with a less lunch because I value that my garden and the time I get to spend there, where I can
So
sip my
question
own
for
cup
you.
of tea.
Love it. Absolutely. So my question for you is, how do we encourage more open conversation with women about this to dispel the myth that you have to be able, you've got to do it all, you've got to do the cooking and the like. One of my things I tell you, girl, this by the end of this year, come hell or high water, it's the chef for me.
Chef.
It's not
For
that I
sure.
can't cook. I can cook
Mm.
the kingdom come. I have the time. I do not have the time. And secondly, when we were in Barbados, actually, your house in Barbados, they had a chef, having a chef. It was just so, it was, oh, what would you like? Oh, what would I like? Oh, it's this. It was
Someone caring for
amazing.
you, someone asking you what you want to eat and then making it for you and then
And making
serving
it
it
for
to
you
you.
and serving it to you. And it was so interesting because the question I was asked was so because I remember one day I had I was like, I don't quite, this is not quite how I like it. So I'm like, love what you do, but could we just tweak it this way? It was tweet next morning, bam, the way I mean, wow. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, that is one of the things for me. And this is not it's not a stretch because I looked at it and it's not actually hard, even if it was a couple of nights a week.
Yeah.
It's not as difficult. And I think sometimes we've created this message in our heads that, oh, it's going to cost me the world, I'm not going to be able to do it. And actually, it's not as bad as you think it is. So, how do we
I
open the
yeah, I think
conversation?
I've got a few things to say on this.
Come
I
on.
think one, we just talk about it like this. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for opening up this conversation and making it something we are having a conversation about. We can definitely share more about what our lives are like and what we're
Mm.
doing and how things are getting done, because it is the number one thing. Oh, you do so many things, how you do it? I'm like, well, there's a lot I don't do. Let me
Yes.
tell you what I don't
Oh,
do.
I love that. There is a lot I don't do. I love that.
Mm-hmm. A lot you have to not do to do the things you want to do.
Mm.
Um, so hold that. So, secondly, I think just in terms of our stories that we've got, and I'll speak for myself, but I think it will ring true for many others. The images and the conditioning we've seen about service and having help is often what we see displayed to us in this culture, which is the upper echelons of society, with often black folk coming around and serving them. It feels icky, this idea of service and having someone, like, you've got to get through that of thinking of it in those terms, like, oh, I'm the lord of the manor and someone's coming around. It is not that. It's
Yeah.
actually much more holistic and family oriented, that we all have something we do and our talents. We're making work for someone else. We're
Yes.
bringing community. We're allowing ourselves to be brilliant and shine at what we are best at and making space for someone else to do that. And there is nothing wrong with that. So I really think there's some rewriting our scripts about what this is. And thirdly, on that point, we go back in our history and just, we didn't start and end with the slavery story. We know this.
Yeah.
Kings, queens, kingdoms, with service, with people, with
Yes. Yeah.
community. And I
Yeah.
only have to go back 2 generations in my family for that.
I love it. I love it. I think it's so important. I think women across the world, just in general, it's just like you do not have to be forever in servitude
Mm.
for everything and anything. And I think we do it at work as well. We go into servitude like we did way,
Who's
way
the social diary person?
right. It's like, oh yeah, oh, so
Paid.
I'll take it on. Oh, we need somebody. I'll take it on. Oh, well, I can, and I love it. Danny Mohammed, she did a live on air in the Compass Club for me. And well, she said the best advice she was given, she said it funny was by a black woman, and when she worked in New York in a big agency, and the woman said to her, "Don't own the problem in the room."
Mm-mm.
And I love that. Don't own the problem in the room. Just own the things that are your things. And then again, with this whole kind of the paying for peace, is if you know that these are things that are adding stress, that these are things that you don't have the time for, and then it's making you, because we think about it, we just think about it. Oh, I haven't been able to do that. I've got that on the list.
Mm.
Then let somebody else who wants to do it do it.
Yes. Let them do it.
Let them do it. And then you can step into your brilliance,
Yeah.
operate in your genius and shine, and you'll earn more, you'll do more, you'll feel better just by doing it. So my last question for you, and you have been excellent.
I've enjoyed this so much. I keep going.
The other thing is, what makes you brilliant?
Ooh, that's such a great question. What makes me brilliant? I think is my empathy. I know thinking.
No thinking.
Look, she's caught me there. She's like, where's the thing coming
Don't worry,
there?
I'll be catching everyone.
She'll catch you. She'll catch you. No thinks. I am an amazing presenter.
Yes, that you are.
I am. I have fantastic empathy and curiosity and interest in other people. And I am absolutely brilliant at taking complex subjects and making them simple and explaining them to other people. I realize that this is actually my superpower.
Yeah.
That I do just as a matter of course. So in my role as a lawyer, it's what I did. As my role as a presenter, it's what I did. As a role as my coach, it's what I do. I can untangle it and present it as something quite simple. I used to think that wasn't such a great power, that I oversimplified things and that people didn't think I was smart. But I own that now as my superpower.
Because it takes a smart person to simplify I can't even say the words.
Complex
concepts. It
right?
does. It
takes
really
that.
does.
And it's a skill, and I own it. It makes me brilliant. It's where I shine.
Yes.
I'm great live on air. And I'm a brilliant mum and a brilliant friend.
I love it. You're now, it's like, I am also.
I am, and.
I absolutely, we're complex being, multiple ways and of being and being brilliant. Thank you so much for being here. It's just been such a great conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. You've inspired me in lots of different ways. I'm like, gotta get me that housekeeper. And
Please do.
I know for sure you'll have inspired other people to think about it, and I'm just going to say this before you say, oh, but I don't want to know £20 because that's what we like to go to. Stop. Don't look for the reason why you can't. Look for the reason why you can.
Absolutely. And go for the thing that's going to change the dial for you. I chose what was necessary for me.
Yeah.
Sit with yourself, because you might be, I don't know, what should I do first? I don't know where to start. There's so much, and then just pick one thing.
And it might just be laundry. It just might be, I need to send the laundry out. Yes. I cannot cope with it. It drives me mad. And in fact, this morning I was like, I need laundry. I need my laundry doing. Yeah. So, and it might, whatever it might be for you. But
for me, it was bathrooms.
I need somebody to come here and do my hair.
I don't want
to do it myself. It stresses me out.
Yeah.
Or makeup, it might be. Whatever it is. You choose what it is for you. And know that you have the power, the ability, the permission, the autonomy to pay for peace.
Pay for your peace.
Absolutely. For your peace. Take the help.
Take it.
The help.
Yeah.
Okay, my love. So the last thing is, if you can just give us, where can we find you? Socials, websites?
Oh, you can find me. So my name is Denise Nurse like a doctor. Everyone's always confused. It's Nurse. So Denise Nurse, DENISE, NURSE.com is the website. So that's my website. And it's really simple because I'm Denise Nurse on LinkedIn and I'm Denise.nurse on Instagram. So I'm really easy to
find. We can find you there.
Yes.
Fabulous. Oh, and just a reminder, remind them of the program that you are on.
Okay. So I present Escape to the Country on BBC One. It's usually on the daytime, but you can catch us on iPlayer. If you're interested in property, you like to see the countryside and gorgeous houses, that's the show for you. And you can also catch me from time to time now on Morning Live, which is a daytime show. And I am the legal expert. So bringing together my legal and my presenting talents and brilliance.
Love that. Thank you, Denise, so much for being here, for sharing your wisdom. And we truly appreciate you. And we cannot wait to see you on stage, live in person at the Brilliance Summit. See you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Brilliance Summit podcast. We've been honoured with such amazing guests. So, if you've loved what you've heard, gained from it, or enjoyed it, please share the Brilliance Summit with women you know in leadership and emerging leadership so that they too can benefit from the content and the wisdom of our guests. We look forward to seeing you at the Brilliance Summit this year.